Hey y'all, I hope everybody enjoyed NFL Championship weekend. Only 2 teams are left, so we're going to get into all the action on Ashley's Hot Takes. So if you're just joining us, thank you and we welcome you to the madness. If you're wondering why I'm wearing black, I am in mourning. Me, my dad, the Ross household. It's been a rough 24 hours over here, and usually, I pick games, but when you're this close to the Super Bowl and you're this invested, it's rough. New to Hot Takes, I'm just going to fill you in briefly. So, my dad is a diehard Jaguars fan. I personally am not a Jaguar fan, but I have been rocking with this team since the beginning. I saw them practice early in the year, so I've become invested. Now, on the flip side, I've just grown to love the Vikings. I feel like they were super underrated all year. Case Keenum didn't get that much respect. A lot of guys played with heart and passion and commitment, so I just really loved what they represented. So I was going for Vikings and the Jaguars because my dad had always promised me ever since I was a little girl, if the Jaguars ever made it to the Super Bowl, we would go to the Super Bowl. So fast forward, I'm like, we're 1 game away, so if they win, I win. I know, somewhat selfish, but don't judge me. I say all that to set the stage for Sunday. Jacksonville traveling up to Foxborough, taking on New England. So much drama, so many storylines going on through the week. Jalen Ramsey coming out saying they were going to beat them, they were going to go to the Super Bowl. Tom and his lacerated hand, and anticipation coming into this game. So when the actual game started, a lot of people were surprised that Jacksonville got off to an early lead. I wasn't that surprised because I knew that was really the only key to their success. They couldn't get behind early. So they start off really strong. Jaguars start off controlling the pace of the game. They weren't letting New England dictate the speed and the rhythm of the game. They were in full control early on. But towards halftime, you kind of saw New England creep back up, put some points on the board going into the second half. The second half was a completely different story. I feel like Jacksonville, they got a little tight, they knew that they had a lead, and they didn't want to do anything. They stopped taking those necessary risks that put them up in the first half. So they went away from the play action and just abandoned what really was working for them in that first half. Another thing that I was upset about, why did they never use Bortles' legs? That worked really well for them against Buffalo and Pittsburgh. Why wouldn't you at least design a couple plays where he could scramble and use his legs? So I didn't understand that. Those were just my offensive concerns. Defensively, if you followed this Jags team all year, that was not their best defensive day at all. And a huge thing I didn't understand was I felt like the corners at times were playing so far off their guys, trying to avoid the deep threat. They ended up giving up these 10, 15-yard plays that just kept drives alive when if you're playing man-to-man, you shut that down and then you get some 3 and outs and then you give your offense a chance. So I don't know if that was necessarily their fault or the play calling, but it clearly wasn't working, and New England and Tom Brady, to their credit, they made some great second half adjustments, and they were without Gronk, and this is where the greatness of Tom Brady shines the best. He will take anybody and make them a superstar for what he needs. You can't talk about this game without talking about the officiating. Jacksonville had multiple calls, which I think they deserved a lot of those calls, but you're telling me New England walked out of that game with 1 penalty? 1 flag, that's all? To me, there's something wrong with that. I'm not trying to sit here and start a conspiracy that it's rigged and the refs are bought. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, what I don't like about the NFL sometimes when I watch games is be consistent. If y'all are going to let guys play through, let them play through, but it has to be even on both sides. For about 3 quarters, the Jaguars really look like this game could be theirs, but at the end, you can't count out the GOAT. Tom Brady does what he did. He is going to another Super Bowl trying to get his 6th ring. Good for him. Patriots win the AFC. Now let's move to the NFC. Philly taking on the Vikings. Vikings trying to play to be that first team to host a Super Bowl at home. Philly playing to show that they are not a fluke, that even without Carson, they're a strong team. Like I said earlier, I have grown a certain level of fondness for this Vikings team. I love what they represent, and it hurt my heart to watch this game because it was one of those situations where you know they're better than how they were playing. Having said that, I understand I have a job to do and I have to give a fair and critical analysis, and it wasn't a clean game. The things that had worked so well all year defensively, they're not a defensive team that give up points like that. They gave up points offensively. I believe they had 14 turnovers all year. They had 3 yesterday. So when you do things that you don't typically do, especially against a skilled, chip on their shoulder team, the results are not going to be in your favor. So that's kind of what we saw yesterday. Let's give some serious credit to the Eagles. They had felt disrespected going back to the Atlanta game when they were home underdogs. They were home underdogs again against the Vikings, and they just played with a certain brashness, like, y'all have just disrespected us all year long. Much as people want to talk about Nick Foles and how he's not Carson Wentz, he played a very strong game against a Vikings defense that had been stingy all year long. So give credit to where credit is due. But this is what I will say about some of you Philly fans. I have no issue with people being excited about their team, even a little trash talk. I think that's all fun within the realm of the game. But for some, not all Philly fans, because I think the majority are really good, but for some of them who egged the Vikings bus, like, that's just classless. And talking about Grandma Millie, she is a 98-year-old woman, and talking about F her, like, to me, that is taking it too far, and I take issue with that, because you can have fun all day long, but you don't need to be disrespectful. So I'm going to leave that there, but I need to say that. Super Bowl 52 is now officially set. You will have the New England Patriots taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. That is it for Ash's Hot Takes, but don't worry, we're going on hiatus next week, but we will be back in time for Super Bowl week to give you all the coverage heart desires. Thank you for watching. If you're new, I hope you enjoy. Please message me, comment, subscribe to my YouTube, tell your friends to subscribe and follow me. I really appreciate all the love, you guys. I hope you have a great week. Bye, y'all.